Hey, good morning. Back to my morning show days here. This is like when I used to get into work. Okay. Just waiting to make sure the stream hooks in, and then I will start talking and actually meaning things. Think we're good. A tornado watch was literally just issued. I was going to try to be smart and go on a few minutes before, and I was going to impress you by saying, "Hey, a tornado watch might be issued soon," and it was going to pop up, and it snaked me here. So this is a tornado watch that includes the southern half or southern two-thirds of the area. This includes Vernon, Rapides, Avoyelles, Beauregard, Allen, Evangeline, and St. Landry Parish, and of course those parishes to the south. This is in effect until 9 a.m., and that's because of, well, you got a lot going on here. And I was actually going to come and update just because this was... you can see a lot of changes, I guess, in the last hour since we last spoke here. But we had that one surge of storms come through. Look what's happening out west, though. This area right here really kind of holding up and actually surging a bit back to the north as that parent system comes out of Texas. You can see it's, yeah, I'll pull the big radar out in a minute, but this one is going to be higher detail here. This is the Fort Johnson radar. But look at this, all that warm air advection lifting these little parcels of air. And these are running in and becoming quite strong thunderstorms here fairly quickly. So this is going to provide another boost of energy. It's going to provide more rainfall for the area, and these areas that have not seen much, you are about to join the party as well. I'm up to 1.63 inches here at the house, very manageable since this evening, and 1.34 since midnight. So getting plenty of rain here, but nothing like what they've seen just west of us. You guys in Vernon Parish, Beauregard, you're under that flood warning with a considerable threat. There is the flash flood emergency in Kirbyville, Texas for... they have high water rescues ongoing right now, over 9 inches of rain, it looks like, per radar estimates. And again, it's tough to nail down these things in advance, but I wanted to hit that very hard that I thought someone nearby was going to see up to 10 inches of rain. And it looks like, you know, we've seen at least 8-inch totals come out of these areas just west of Alexandria. And I think someone out there gets 10 as we fill these showers and storms in, kind of nudge that boundary back to the north. And that's why, even though it's a little cooler up here in Vernon and Rapides and parts of Avoyelles Parish, there is still that tornado threat because this system, now that it's moving in from the west, is going to kind of pull everything back north, and we'll see how far north that warm sector gets. In fact, I'm not going to do the... I'm going to pull something up just so I always have like 5 or 6 windows open, and I forgot to have this one. It just has our current conditions in a very quick, easy way for me to see it. And Alexandria, yeah, we're 60, and the dew point's 59. So that is not good for tornadoes. So that's good for humans. Oakdale, the dew point's down to 63. I would guess that boundary is near or just south of you, but like I said, this could get tugged to the north. Dew point is 63 in DeRidder. You get to Lafayette, it's 72. So there is a big difference there. That front is probably going to be just south of a DeRidder to Oakdale line through like around Ville Platte. If you're in the low 70s or you have a very, very humid air mass over you right now and you're in those parishes, then you're already in the warm sector, and we're already seeing these storms that will feed north into that very warm and unstable air. This one looks interesting already, and I am going to go ahead and take a look at it just to see. I'm assuming, yeah, I'm not seeing much in the wind fields there. So let's talk flooding. Let's talk whatever comes up. How about that? We have more heavy rain here coming into Western Rapides Parish. This is going to continue onto the northeast and really hit this area that just got smoked pretty well by some heavy rainfall. Let's, talking about that, let's go and take a look at the rainfall totals here over the last, let's go 3 hours. How about that? How's that sound? I don't know why I give you a choice because I'm just going to do it. All right. So anywhere in yellow, you are at or above 2 inches in radar estimates in the last 3 hours. So a nice stripe of 2 to 3 there. That's totally doable. We can handle that. 1.5 inches. That's about what I've seen. So the radar estimate here on the southwest side of town is good. And again, last 3 hours, this is where we've had problems down there into parts of Vernon and Beauregard Parish with 3 to 6 inches. Had a little more before that. Some radar estimates up over 8 inches. And again, down here around Kirbyville, they've seen 4 to 6 inches of rain in the last 3 hours. I will show you the last 6 to prove I am not a liar. Actually, let's do the last 12. Let's really go for it. And you can see here that we have seen that heavy rainfall basically northwest of Faraday to Jonesville line to Alexandria, and then down toward DeRidder. Anywhere north of that line pretty much has seen at least 2 inches of rainfall, except for at my house where we are sitting at about 1.6, but you get the idea. And in these purple areas, radar estimates approaching a foot. I mean, these aren't ground truth totals, but, when you're seeing estimates like this, and I'm seeing some of these ground truth totals that are actually, looking like they are jiving with what we're seeing here on the estimates, well, in that case, we are going to go ahead and say, yeah, it's been raining like crazy out here. So far, we have not seen these totals really, we haven't seen this whole stripe of very heavy rainfall move across the area. But remember, we're not just getting started here, but we are starting a new phase of this system. Now, this is kind of that next phase I'd been waiting on as this other system comes out of Texas. So here's what we are looking at on radar with our fresh tornado watch. If you're just joining us, for all parishes in from Vernon, Rapides, and Avoyelles to the south, we have a tornado watch in effect until 9 a.m. this morning. What a weird time for a tornado watch. Let's go ahead and see the text on that. Real quick, just to keep with the Kirbyville flash flood emergency, Pin Oak Creek in Kirbyville, Texas is now up to 10.6 feet, which is just 0.3 feet below major flood stage. And this thing, that's at 3:30 a.m. This was at 9.5 feet at 3:02 a.m. So, it's coming up over a foot in a half hour, and it did that the hour before that. So it's nasty out that way. You can see severe warnings returning to the picture, and just kind of look and see what we have here. So we have the special weather statement out here for some very heavy rain and flooding rains and all that kind of stuff. And then you can see these storms. These are activating as I said earlier, it's warm advection. It's a way to lift the air. And that creates these showers and storms if you have instability and other things in place. And we have a very favorable atmospheric profile down south. I'm interested to see what happens as these cross the boundary. Sometimes that gives them enough oomph to turn severe, and we see the transition into potentially some supercells that would rotate. But just because this first wave moved through Alexandria, that does not mean we are done by any stretch of the imagination. You can see all that lightning going on. Really not too loud as this came overhead here. You can see that there are several strikes in there. Let me see the counter. 608 strikes. Of course, a lot of these are sneaking in here through Texas. So let's not cheat. Let's just go and really include most of our area. Yeah, we're down into the 400 range and actually dropped a little bit. So that's good news. But that's mainly because we've seen some breaks in this line as it kind of outruns the main forcing. But we have this here that is going to push on toward the east. And I'd promised you the larger view of things. So we're going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and do that. How about that? Okay, so this is your national composite of the radar, and it really shows you kind of what is going on. This right here, that is the squall line. Let's see, can we see my cursor? I need to make that bigger, don't I? I'm not even going to try right now. So what I'll do is this. This squall line here, that's the one that initially, if we didn't see this big cluster of storms push as far south as it did, I thought this squall line was going to sweep through and bring some really heavy storms with pretty widespread severe stuff. And I was thinking, with a big bow echo coming through and crazy wind shear, we could see some spin-up tornadoes. Now, we're under a tornado watch, and that's still possible, especially as this surges more to the north. The good news for you folks north of this tornado watch is I think you stay in the stable air. So I think you'll see some thunderstorms. I think you'll have the rain falling, but I don't foresee this being nearly as bad as what we're going to see in the southern 2/3 or so of the area, basically south of an Anacoco to Ball to Marksville line, something like that. So this, again, just putting it in motion, this is your main system out here. Wichita Falls, you see that pinwheel down to the backside? That's a cold rain falling up there from Amarillo to Plainview, Texas. That's your upper level feature. Here is the the impulse that's going to be out ahead of that. You're not going to see your strongest storms typically right underneath that upper feature. You want to get that jet energy, because what we have here, and we have time, so let's just talk about stuff, I mean, what else am I going to do? We have winds aloft that are going like this here, and they're going like this down here. So what happens there? It's a thing called Dyne's compensation. In the upper levels, if you have this vacuum that you're evacuating mass aloft, what happens is that air spreads out and has to get replaced. So that's almost like, it's another way to have surface convergence or something to lift the air mass. So what we have here is the air has to replace it from somewhere. It's not going to replace it from above it, because that air is lighter and less dense. It's going to actually come up from below. So we're going to see the air from the surface come up, and that's going to replace that. Upward motion is very much evident here as we see all these thunderstorms. So this upper jet energy like this, and actually this one is a little more dramatic than this. I mean, it's more like this, the flow down here is like that, and this is more back like this. So I know I got too many arrows on there, but it's crazy. So that's what's promoting this, even though, sometimes we have cloud cover, and it's like, well, how do we get instability if there's clouds? Don't you have to heat things up? Well, you can cool things aloft, or you can do things like that to help lift the atmosphere if you have a little bit of instability. And in this case, we have plenty of instability, and we also have plenty of lift to go along with that, and wind shear as well. So that's a little meteorological lesson. When that lift does overspread, you hit this point where it just goes from nothing to pretty crazy. And I mean, look at this. In the last hour, what we've seen, you've just seen this stuff really take off over Cameron and Calcasieu Parish. It'll continue to edge toward the east, and we'll see this happen, out toward Lafayette in the next couple hours as well. And that's going to refill this line right here as everything kind of jams in from the south. They did issue a special weather statement on this one here that is moving into southern Beauregard Parish, and that's the one I'm watching closely, because when that hits the boundary, it's possible that could become severe. So something I'm watching. Flood warnings ongoing now from Catahoula through LaSalle, parts of Wynne, all of Grant, southern Natchitoches, and then Vernon and Beauregard Parish. Those are the ones that are, I'd say Vernon and Beauregard right now are the most serious. That is a considerable threat for flooding issues. And then we have that flash flood emergency out in Kirbyville, Texas, which is not far across the border. And unfortunately, this all is filling back in. We have more storms coming from here. We have a tornado watch until 9. So like I said, I can't say we're just in the early stages or we're just getting going here. I knew this was going to be a long event, and it's bearing out pretty much as forecast, although there were some different scenarios along the way. We knew that no matter what happened, we were going to end up with a lot of rainfall. So flood watches, tornado watches. Fortunately, so far, while I think we did have one tornado in southwestern Sabine Parish, I'm not going to speak too soon. I'm not going to say it. So that's it. I'm just going to stop and be quiet. But we're going to see a lot of heavy rain. I do know that. And I do think we will see that threat for severe weather, especially south of this boundary. And hopefully that doesn't nudge any further to the north. But I do think more flood warnings are coming. I do think some severe warnings are going to be coming here over the next several hours as we now cross into the 4 a.m. hour. So congratulations to all 274 of you for being up. How many of us have dogs panting on our pillow? My cat always sleeps like literally right snuggled up on me. So she has been laying in my lap, and she's like, why aren't we going to bed yet? I'm really tired. So I finally think she's convinced she can go sleep over there. But man, I'll tell you what, my animals are not scared of the weather. So that's good. I guess I've trained them correctly. Leesville is ramping back up. Yes, it looks like it's pretty scattered right now, but this is filling in, and this is going to be a big old blob of nasty. Let me go ahead and show you, again, since we're here, I don't have a set plan with my life on these things. We're just going to talk weather because that's what I like to do. So here is your futurecast now. This shows 5 a.m. This is the latest one. Again, this must be really short. No? Okay. So this shows lots of rain and storms, that whole thing, then I'm going back to the beginning here, but we're filling things into the south. That refills that line up across Rapides Parish, up through the northern or southern 2/3 of the area. Then north of that line, again, from about Anacoco to Ball to Marksville, you see more of this moderate rain. That looks nasty, but that's pretty much moderate to heavy rain that's just going to have some embedded thunder in it. So no real worries there. It's not welcome rain. I wouldn't go that far, but it's not going to be causing any massive issues apart from wet roadways. And then that all moves out. And then we'll see what happens behind this. It looks like at least some storms continuing through the day. And then as that main upper system comes through, I really didn't think it was going to last this long. I don't think the severe threat's really high throughout the day, but there is going to be some threat for thunderstorms, and Tom Convica will be in to take care of that for you, because I definitely could not go much past about 10 this morning. I think that's when I have him coming in for his shift, which means he's going to fire up his laptop. Let me see. Let me see what else I have here. Check out power outages real quick. Let's add them up. 100,000, man, Sabine, not getting back on. 49, 69, 79, 8,000 roughly power outages. Looks like Rapides has reduced their number from 1,000 down to 300, which always freaks me out because I think these guys are out there doing this in the lightning, and I don't like lightning. I mean, I like it, but, I don't want to be out in it. Let me check the sky cam. Might as well take a peek out on that. I mean, heck, the sun's coming up in a couple hours. There we go. I finally caught some lightning as these storms continue to increase across the area. Looking at my latest update, my guy from the National Weather Service, Lake Charles, is going home after a good shift, and we have another good one coming in. So, yes, heavy rainfall. I know people are going to start getting up in the next couple of hours, obviously, here in Rapides Parish. I know we're not getting them off to school or anything. Whoops, where'd I go? There I am. Have I not been on this whole time? I mean, I know I've been on, but I've been talking, but whatever. So that is looking out there at the skyline, which is occasionally providing some lightning and some very heavy rainfall. Let's take a look one more time at radar. Make sure nothing jumped off the page and went crazy. We still have that storm down to the south that is just now entering into Beauregard Parish. That has prompted a special weather statement. We still have our flood warnings that are going on. This one goes until 7 a.m., and then the tornado watch pops in. They actually extended the time on that. So yeah, lots of stuff going on. Still, all modes of severe weather are possible within that tornado watch, while I think that damaging wind, isolated damaging wind, and isolated tornadoes are going to be our main threat. Can't rule out some hail as well, and we've seen some small hail across the area overnight. Let me take one more look at that storm relative velocity, make sure this storm isn't trying to do anything creative. Let's go to the Lake Charles radar since it's closer. I see some rotation in there. I'm seeing something, but I'm not seeing anything imminent. I always check this because I never want to get caught. It's happened to me before, and I have learned. I'm a good boy. Okay, so heavy rain about to move back into Alexandria. If you have to travel in the next 15 minutes, it's going to get a lot worse. And yeah, you can see all that, all those elements down to the south that will be filling in here, bringing plenty of showers and thunderstorms across the area through the morning. This squall line is going to do its best to sweep things out, but like I showed you on that latest run of the HRRR model, it does look like we are going to see some thunderstorms in the area through the day today. Yes, not yesterday. It's now today. All right, 4:05 a.m. I'm going to take a break, maybe I can't drink coffee. That'll wire me. I need to sleep at some point. But I will be back on here if we get warnings, or probably in an hour or so, just to check in and talk to you about what's going on and where the worst of things are happening right now. Keep the reports coming. They're always welcome. I love to see that stuff and really appreciate what you guys contribute to this whole thing, because without you, I mean, I'm just a guy talking about weather, so it really, really helps to have those reports and all the good stuff and all the good vibes and all that good stuff. All right, I will see you guys in a bit.